Hello, everyone. Welcome to GunnerKing's Court. We've got Canners on today. We're here to discuss all of the latest transfer news regarding Arsenal Football Club. Some we've already spoken about, but the interest really is hotting up in them. So yeah, Canners, I wanted to get your thoughts on them. The main ones I wanted to go over really all feature in this shot here. Unana, from Ajax, Ben White, Brighton, Lokonga of Anderlecht. So yeah, I mean, it's really looking like a lot of this is hotting up. The latest news being that we've made bids for Lokonga, both to here we've sounded out both his representatives and Anderlecht to put together a bid that was rejected. Believed to be in the region of 15 million euros with bonuses included. And the hope that Anderlecht have, according to a number of sources, is that they're looking in and around the 20 million euro figure. So yeah, I mean, I just wanted to get your thoughts on this one. I know we spoke a little bit about him the other day, but I mean, now that it's been lodged officially, apparently, and it's looking like we're firming up our interest for him. What are your thoughts, Camus?
Do you know what? I've just got. Listen, there's no doubt he's a good player. He's got, I've not seen a lot of him, but all the sounds coming out of Belgium, and obviously Henry's endorsed him. Have we made a bid? Who knows? Do you know what the thing is though? Is it lazy journalism what's going around, in the sense that it just seems to be the thing? Arsenal made a bid and it's rejected, and the other team's holding out for X amount. It just never seems to be the Arsenal way of doing business. Is boom, it's done. It just comes out of the blue. Fair enough, we might have been talking about certain players, but it then goes cold, and then we've actually then signed someone. I have no idea where these leaks are coming from, if indeed they are concrete leaks. If we've made a bid, it just sounds like an Arsenal bid, if you know what I mean. 15 million when the team want 20 million. But that's always the case. That's always the case, that we make a bid, but it's been rejected because it's, and what doesn't matter how much the actual price of the player is, we're always 2 or 3 million short. So for me, there's something there. It doesn't matter what price it is for the players. There's just something. It just doesn't sound like an Arsenal thing to me, where all of these leaks that is coming out that we've made these bids or whatever. I'm done with rumors. I think I'm done with the rumors of where we've made bids. I'm not accepting that. What I do understand is that maybe is like, yes, that we may be after certain players or whatever. Are we after this kid? Could well be, simply because, listen, if Bissouma is our number one target, which I guess that's the general consensus, it would make a good decision to buy him, simply because he's a European player and he won't be going off to the African Cup of Nations come January. So I'm not kind of like it's a tough one. It really is a tough one. Whether or not we've made a bid, it just seemed to have come out of the blue, the bid.
I mean, it's a lot of sources. There are a lot of sources, that are reporting that a bid's been made. Some of those.
But why are we always so short? And where did it? Who gets these prices?
The thing is, I think in the grand scheme of things, 5 million euros, the gap is about 3 million pounds in today's money, based on the exchange rate. So I don't think it's a million miles apart. I just want to put some of these up again. You know, most of them are going with the 13.5, you know, the 13 million pound bid. You know, which would be, you know, probably about 15 million euros. You know, just over. I'm not really concerned that there is a distance between the two. And that does seem like something Arsenal would do, you know, sort of come in with a lower bid and work their way up. I don't see this as the Buendia situation, where there's a bigger difference, and also where the sums
the
of money.
one, there wasn't that big a difference. It was just a case of
it's a case of
the numbers were the same, but it was just a case of, I think apparently it was they
Norwich were
wanted
paying more up front.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
so
And
it doesn't seem like a comparable situation, because, you know, I've not heard anything to suggest that the way that we structured the bid was the issue.
Right.
So yeah, I think with this opening bid, it's more serious than the opening 1-1 for the opening bid for Buendia was, in terms of the numbers, you know, of what they want and how much closer you get to it. I mean, you're never going to get someone that's going to come in and go, "Oh, you want 20 million euros? We'll just give you 20 million euros." You know, like, it doesn't work like that. You know, and I think the fact that they've got so close to the figure, I think shows that this isn't a transfer they want to miss out on.
Well,
are
we close to the figure? That's the question. Are we close to the figure? Because the fee I saw that was being reported was 20 million, and we bid what, 13.5?
No, we bid
some 15.
13.5 million pounds. But
okay, so that's 15 mil euros.
Yeah, around that. Yeah, slightly over, I think. But yeah, they want 20 million euros, which would be about the 15 million pound figure. Again, I think that's even less comparable to Buendia, because look, even for Arsenal Football Club, for all intents and purposes, that is loose change under the mattress, as far as I'm concerned. You know, like,
well, this is Arsenal we're talking, right? And
yeah, but I mean,
this,
when you're looking at the ability ceiling this kid has, and the fact that he is captaining, you know, for all intents and purposes, Anderlecht are a big European club, you know, like, in terms of their history. You know, he one of the bigger ones in Belgium, and he is captaining them at 21 years old, you know. So I think, relative to those things, it's not a great expense.
But here's a question for you. I want to pose a question back to you, okay? Why spend all that money when you got someone in the ranks already who can possibly do that job in Miguel Aziz?
Well, I just think, you know, this isn't a time, I would say, for, you know,
because this Lokonga guy is not proven.
There's only so much young players you can just bring into the team that don't have top level experience. You know, if not in this country, you know, in another country, you know, that have actually been in. You know, it's a very different thing, yeah, to be obviously performing for your under 23 or your under 19 team, you know, at youth level. You know, even to, you know, say, if you look at Saliba, you know, he went and got a loan, and he was playing top flight French football, you know, which is still going to be a higher level than your under 23 or your youth level. You know, I think, I think, look, with the midfielders that we're looking at, central midfielder Xhaka is gone. You know, other than that, who would you said is good enough in our midfield? You know, to walk into a top 6 team, or to play.
Oh, none of our midfielders that we have can walk into us top 16. The only one obviously is the obvious with Thomas Partey.
But I think when you look at it like that, you have to look at some ready-made solutions. You can't just, you know, flood the place.
Is this kid it? Is it? Could this kid walk into any top 6 team?
Well, I mean, look, at the end of the day, I think he's 21. You know, obviously he's got a lot to learn. You know, a lot of maturing to do. Maybe what they're looking at is they have the realization that they're going to need to bring two midfielders in, and they don't want to look at a Neves and this guy, or you know, as opposed to a Neves and a Basuma, you know, as a means to kind of dedicate funds to other areas. You know, I think, you know, when you look at needing two, you know, Neves and Basuma, or you know, that's 70, 80 million quid.
I actually think, oh yeah, God bloody hell, yeah. If you got those two, I mean, oh God.
And yeah, I mean, look, I personally think there are 4 or 5 midfielders in the centre that we could offload to fund at least one, if not one and a half, of, you know, like 40 to 60 million pound from offloading 4 midfielders.
Yeah.
Chuck in the difference to get them both. Maybe the club don't want to do that, in which case they're thinking, you know, this could involve us selling a few midfielders, buying a ready-made Premier League proven one.
Yeah.
You know, getting another that's kind of up and coming, a bit rough around the edges, but that can adapt to this league.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. But then, I mean, yeah, if we're selling certain players, but then would you rate Lokonga better than Guendouzi?
Personally, I mean, you know, in terms of my thoughts on Guendouzi, I just think it's irrelevant to his quality. You know, I'm not looking at Guendouzi and thinking we've got a player there. I'm looking at everything that comes with that player. You know, like I'm thinking everything that's happened with that player in the past. You know, not just with our management. He's gone out on loan. He's caused similar sorts of problems. You know, with other players, other coaching staff. You know, there clearly is a problem with Guendouzi's
I kind of like if you see his Twitter, official Twitter,
I mean, it can be argued that Arteta hasn't handled it well, but it's like, what would you rather? You know, like 2 parties that are in an unhappy marriage to stay together.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just there's some things you got to draw a line under, and I think too much has happened with Guendouzi. You know, I think we need fresh impetus. You know, like it's going to be a hell of a bridge building exercise to get him back playing for a Mikel Arteta side, and Arteta's not going to go anywhere soon.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think I just saw one of the chats and I just got killed by Lottie.
Yeah, well, yes, yeah, you know, like,
Lottie's just killed me.
As well, yeah. You know, I think, yeah, but I think let's see what the guys are saying. You know, I think, yeah. So
But this is the thing.
Yesterday, I saw Arsenal fans calling for him to be signed. Do you think they're desperate? Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, look, we got every right to be. You know, like based on how we finished last season.
Yeah, but it's like everyone who does a little something in the tournament, then we're linked with him. It's like, listen, to be fair, Isak yesterday, I thought he looked very decent. I thought, you know, he's the type of player I think would probably fit the criteria of what we need, actually, to be honest. Someone who's got quick feet, can hold the ball up, and can do a bit, and has got pace. And he's only going to get stronger. But look, yeah, I saw that rumor, and there was like 3 of them apparently from Gremio who were supposed to be interested in it, and it just kind of really kind of like, I don't know if Arteta and everyone's just kind of like sitting down laughing and looking at all these players that we're kind of like you know, supposedly interested in, but I think they've got their targets. I think they're going out to get their targets, and whether or not it will happen or not, time will tell. And as I said, come at the end of the transfer window, that's when I will judge their business and how they've done. I agree with that. Party does need more time. I think he's even said himself that this year, you know, he's had to get used to the whole culture change, the way the team is, the way the club is. It's not, you know, he's been in Spain for pretty much the whole of his career, and you know, from going to Spain to England, London, it's a massive change, massive culture change as well.
Yeah, and I think he does need a partner as well. You know, I think, you know, I do like the idea of playing a double pivot against more dominant teams. You know, in possession and in their attacking transition. And I do like the idea of two sitting behind are more creative players. And, you know, Gumza has used the phrase quite a lot, which would allow the more attacking players to cheat.
To do things,
stay higher up the pitch, camp closer to the opposition's 18-yard and 6-yard box, and stay where they are more effective.
Yeah. Hey, that's not a bad shout, DePaul.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I was going to say towards that end, you know, I think he's a good player to be linked with.
Yeah, and I think the girls like him as well, apparently.
So I've been told. I'm going to show you some clips to my other half and see what her thoughts are, and then ban her from watching the rest of Italy's matches this tournament. He got picked for the Italy squad, didn't he? I'm sure he did.
Isn't he Argentinian?
Yeah, he's Argentinian. Sorry, he was playing last night against Chile.
Yeah,
of course, yeah.
I thought he was trying to catch me out there. I was thinking, whoa,
I was trying to catch myself out. I think the heat's got to me, mate. You know, like almost forgot myself. But yeah, like I think for me, Basuma, as you said, if for me, he has to remain the number one target.
Absolutely.
Yes. I worry that his profile, Lokonga's, is very similar to Basuma's. So are they looking at Basuma and Lokonga as an either or situation and thinking this option's cheaper, we'll go with him, and let the other Premier League teams go in?
That would be just so Arsenal. Or
now that is a big concern I have about this transfer.
Why not nail the purchase of Lokonga or whatever, or have something set up and leave him with Anderlecht for that year and then finalize it at something, so he spends another year in Anderlecht? Or are we saying that we want him now? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I want to avoid these solutions that we had with Saliba. You know, went out on loan for a year in this COVID environment. You know, I think if we're signing players, the limited budget we have, the extenuating circumstance we find ourselves in, we need players for right now. Like,
absolutely. I see what Mr. Silver Fox did there. I like that.
Yeah, I like that. I can already see the chant being done around the terraces. So yeah, I think, you know, that's probably a thumbs up from me just for that. So I can imagine those scenes. Yeah, that'll be something. Breezy is in the building. What's good?
Yes.
He is like you in this Guendouzi in-clan. Like for me, look, I think player agendas and manager agendas are irrelevant to our owner agenda. That's the agenda for me. But you know, I think that you do have to draw a line under certain things, underlying issues, and I think him and Xhaka both brought that where it boiled over too many times, you know, and affected their discipline and their temperament. I mean, it's going to be another season in the trenches. I think, you know, the way it could be. Way other teams.
Oh man, they know what to do. I'm trusting them. They know what to do. They know what's needed. So if us all fans know what's needed, and we're pulling up all these names, you know, for certain players in certain areas, they surely must have the same opinion of what's needed. I'm trusting them to do what is necessary. Is that Lottie? I was a fan on Cannon Chatter last night. Big show, actually, Lottie. Cannon Chatter, I like that. And I was talking about DePaul. Yeah, he's got, I call the Santi factor. Santi just makes you smile in the way he plays. DePaul does that too. Listen, if he has an nth of what Santi had at our club, man.
He's a very skillful player. You know, he can play anywhere. You know, wide left, wide right, as a number 10. second striker.
Where is he at?
You know,
Udinese? Is that where he's at?
Udinese, yeah, Udinese, yeah. And yeah, like very creative. Similar sort of traits to Cazorla in like the way that he runs, you know, his close knit control of the ball is
Is he the
something.
type of player that will play behind, like it with, you know, when ESR's role, or Odegaard's role? Yeah,
I think he could do it. He could do it. He could do either that. You know, like he could play,
okay.
you know, sort of either on the left, coming inside,
Okay.
or yeah, in the number 10 role. Would be probably two areas that I would look at for him,
Right.
so that you can leave Ober up top, or Laka up top. Well, Laka, you know, plays as deeper as a false nine sometimes, but yeah, yeah, he's a good player, definitely.
Okay.
One that we should be looking at. Lottie here chiming in on the Guendouzi argument.
I think in the right environment he will thrive. That may not be us. However, his Twitter account has gone back to all things Arsenal. So who knows? Who knows what that he's had a conversation with Arteta and he said, "Look, come back for pre-season and let's see where we can go." Or he indeed is up for sale. Who knows? Yeah, do you know what? I'm gonna. They played last night, didn't they?
Yeah, they played against Chile. Yeah.
Okay. And they drew. Was it 1-1?
Yeah, 1-1. Messi scored a free kick. The Pool played well, actually. Yeah, he did play fairly well. But yeah,
I'm gonna check him. I'm gonna properly track him out. Do the proper eye test. You know that seems to be the buzzword now, isn't it? These days, eye test on a player.
It's key, man. You gotta do both. You know, I think you know stats. You know, looking at them without seeing what you're getting. You know, testing on the eye, I just think it's criminal.
AM, CM, DM. Okay, anywhere in the middle, basically, along that spine.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, you can play as an 8 as well. But yeah, I like him. I like him. Definitely, he's a player we should be looking at. Yeah, and look, this is an excellent comment from Breezy. You know, a centre mid who can run with the ball. You know, if you look at someone like Kante, yeah, or Vieira, people would label them as CDMs. No, like they always had someone sitting in next to them. You know, they were kind of box to box. These guys, you know, they could win the ball in deeper areas, but then they
drive over it.
Precisely that, you know, like and you know, it kind of creates that overload centrally.
Yeah, yes, because we've got no one who can draw someone out of position. Do you know what I'm saying? When a team's structured and set in their way, what we need to do then, and what we don't have at the moment, probably Pepe's probably the nearest thing, but he's sometimes a bit inconsistent with that. We need someone who can actually one-on-one do something and destabilize a team's, you know, how they've set up, and disturb that. And we don't have anyone that can do that. I mean, obviously, you know, you go back to the times where we had Perez and, you know, those kind of players, and even like oh shoot, what's his name? When we had Rosicky and Alexander Heb could do that.
But sometimes you need it from like one of the two deeper pivots. So like, you know, I mean, in the Emirates era, I think of Cazorla. You know, like
100%.
He never really played as a 10. He would play as an 8. You know, behind Ozil, you know, with someone next to him, and he would be like the conduit between the number 6 and the number 10 player. You know, like
the glue. You're right.
Into the forwards line with the ball. Without the ball, he would be dropping a bit deeper,
and he'd have the ability to do something. 100%. He'd have the ability to do something unexpected where you're just like, oh shit, okay, we're in trouble now. Yeah.
And I remember that game against City where he went on that really like that iconic Santi Cazorla kind of mazy run that he went on, pirouetted, turned like he was just like, Yaya, who are you? Sorry, you know,
gosh, stop it, man, stop it.
This is what I'm talking about, right? A midfielder that can like help both sides, you know, like
because he's tenacious. He's one of those kind of like a wasp, you know. He's buzzing around you and everything. Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's a shame, absolute shame.
I definitely think Lokonga has got those qualities.
Yeah, he's got quick feet. To be fair, he does have quick feet. Yeah,
and
that will show.
Bissouma is similar as well. I really look at their profiles being quite similar.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be adverse to taking both of them.
I think that would be a good shout.
You know,
I mean, if it's what would you take? Neves and Bissouma, or Neves and Lokonga?
well, I would definitely take Lokonga and Bissouma, but what I worry about is, would they get two players
Sorry,
with a very similar profile?
I meant Bissouma, Lokonga, or Bissouma and Neves. Which of those two?
I would definitely say, if I had to pick, but I would pick Bissouma and Neves.
Okay.
But yeah, I know that I would be doing so at the detriment of money to be spent on other areas. Personally, I think it.
But you wouldn't be disappointed with Bissouma and Lokonga.
No, I'd be. Yeah. I wouldn't be disappointed. But look, if you're looking at getting rid of Xhaka, getting rid of Guendouzi, getting rid of Torreira, getting rid of Ainsley Maitland-Niles, having El Neni and or Willock that we can get rid of there. That only.
How much would you think that could generate? You said 60 million. That
I reckon so. Yeah, I reckon so. I mean, it's looking like we're holding out on the
20 for Xhaka. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he'll have a good tournament with Switzerland, and we'll get close to that.
To hopefully inflate his price a bit. Let's hope that does that.
This is exactly what they're doing. Like I can't see any other reason why that. Why they didn't settle for the reduced fee from Roma, and that must be their thinking. And to be honest,
I'm so glad. At you know, at long last, right? We're showing some balls basically in negotiations. Okay, look, we know that Roma want the player, right? Just don't be kind of lowballed. Basically, just hold out for the highest amount that they can. Teams are doing it to us. Do it back to them.
Exactly. We can definitely play that same game. Sorry, I just leave Lottie's comment back up there regarding DePaul. But yeah, I think we might as well. And look, if we're not keeping all those midfielders, then that leaves Partey and Willock in the centre of the midfield at the moment. And either El Neni or Willock. Yeah,
I love El Neni, but
I think, look, I would keep Willock. I would sell the other 5. I would cut my losses at those, and I would bring in 2 to 3 more.
Yeah.
If you bring in 2 more, you've got Partey and you've got Willock, then you've got 4 decent central midfielders, all with different qualities. I think there's an argument to be made as well that Willock can be pushed further forward in more of a kind of hybrid number 10 role between a 10 and an 8, but with him being a bit more of a 10 and being that much of an 8, if you see what I mean. I mean, at least he went on loan and did something, right?
Even his solo. Yeah. No, I'm. Yeah.
And he did it in this league, unlike Guendouzi. You know what I mean? He didn't prove it.
Guendouzi did it in bits.
He did it. He did it when he was here as a player.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I would have expected him, based on what he had done in the Premier League, to have been able
to smash it.
Really smashed it at Germany, and not only that, more importantly, not got his head involved in any more of the shenanigans, which he didn't do. So, I don't know how we defend him. Personally, so I know you guys think I've got an agenda against him. Look,
I'm on the fence with Guendouzi. I'm on the fence in the sense that I wouldn't be adverse to him having another chance. Seeing what happens. Let's see if he can get his head down and and do what he's supposed to do, which is play football. And also, conversely, I'm open to the idea of getting as much as possible for him. So I'm on the fence with him. Actually, I wouldn't be happy I wouldn't be disappointed either way.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, look, moving on with stories now, because we tied on a few there. But the other one that obviously I wanted to look at was the Ben White one. I wanted to look at it in the context of this tweet from Eddie Longbridge, because I think it's a very serious question to ask. Like, where our Ben White situation, where that leaves Saliba. What your thoughts are.
If this Ben White, in my opinion, if this Ben White thing, if there's any truth in it, then he must really not rate Saliba at all. Ben White should be at the bottom of our list of players that is required, and for the money as well that's going, I don't see him as a necessity. In my opinion, I just feel if we're going to spend 50 million on a centre back, you know what? No, why aren't we going out and spending big on, say, like a right back and get Hakimi in or something? Try and go big like that. Do you know what I'm saying? So I just don't. We need a right back before we need a centre back, and we need a centre midfielder before we need a centre back. And I'd even go as far to say we need a striker before we need a centre back. But if there's any truth in this, I'm not sure. It was just so funny because it was just like, for me, all of a sudden he gets into the England squad, and then all of a sudden all these stories about us going in for him come out. How true are they? I don't know.
Well, there's definitely coming from sort of more trusted sources that I'm seeing out there that are mentioning that there is legs in this story. That there is some concreteness in our interest to him, and I was saying earlier to Nigerian Englishmen, I think it's quite easy for us to say, well, our defensive record was good last season, so we don't need a defender. But I think when you look at how the midfield had to be set up, you're looking at
to the detriment of the attack. Yeah,
like you're looking at people like Pepe and Aubameyang being told to have deep starting positions, to be involved in tracking back and winning the ball, closing it down and stuff. I personally think that is because there is, or Arteta saw, a serious deficiency in our personnel in the defense and in the more defensive midfield positions. That meant that it needed support from other attacking players. And actually, if you look at our total lack of creativity, I think a lot of people see that as two separate problems. Like, we got a problem creating and we got a problem defensively, not that we have such a poor defense that it needs the midfield to support it so much in defending. No wonder we are not creative.
So are you of the ilk then of saying that Arteta has identified that we are very short in central defense, therefore we cannot really rely on our central defenders to actually defend correctly, therefore we need a central defender to allow us to have that attacking creativity and that, not worry about so much what's going on at the back?
There's a few things, I think what's clear in Arteta's system is, in each part of the pitch, like whether it's defense or midfield or attack, he wants people that can carry the ball and that are able to distribute the ball. So, like a ball playing and, sort of a defender that is able to play the ball out into midfield or to drive into the midfield to create an overload that way. If you look at where he's come from, Manchester City and their system, the system that he helped lay the foundations for. It's riddled. It's all in the hallmarks of how they play. And I don't think it's a case of saying we haven't got good defenders. It's a case of saying what defender fits the mold of that profile, that is able to sort of like bring the ball down, take a touch, look up, pick out a pass.
It all comes with trust, doesn't it, really? Do we trust our defenders that we have? And I guess would Arteta trust Ben White? Is he right or left-footed, by the way?
Ben White is right-footed.
Oh, so
Saliba,
Mr. Silver Fox then. Oh, wait a minute. Mr. Silver Fox is saying he's got some breaking news.
yeah, bring it in. Let's hear it.
Jump in.
Yeah,
Fox.
jump in, man. Jump in. Let's get you on.
What's this news? What's this news? Is he coming on? Oh.
Yeah, look, Gomza definitely agrees with me as well.
Yeah.
Our attack being restricted, you know, by I think, yeah, people see them as two completely unrelated issues, and they just think if
apparently
we
we've made some kind of contact about Isaac. I don't know, but I'm just reading something that might not be your breaking news. What's your breaking news, Mr. Fox?
Breaking news: broken by Fabrizio Romano.
Oh,
Rodrigo de Paul is set to join Atletico Madrid for £35 million. So
is that what you're telling us? I thought it was about Arsenal, for God's sake.
Well, it concerns us.
Yeah.
So there's another one we've missed out.
Yeah, but
that's a lot of money still for us.
And we know who's just left the track after that as well, don't we?
I mean, does Fabrizio always get it right? You know, I feel sorry for Lottie. No, he doesn't always get it right. No, man.
His percentage is quite high, to be fair. Yeah, that's another one.
Personally,
I'm actually quite gutted by that, because from what I've seen of him, you know, he's a leader as well, and obviously that's something we're seriously lacking.
Yeah.
But was we going to pay 35 million for him if we're going to get a Basuma, Lokonga, and plays like that? Probably not.
Well, if he can play, if he can take Odegaard's role, that would be the cheaper option.
Gomza thought it was about Isak. You were mentioning that Isak, there's been some contact made there.
Yeah. There's just been reports of contact. But yeah, that's all it is really. That's what I thought he was gonna come up with. Bloody hell, Fox!
I just wanted to see your faces.
I think yeah, with De Paul, there's enough options that are available. You know, in the cam positions, you know, centre mid where he can play. You know, I think 35 million, Atletico Madrid. I don't think that's a lot of money. But yeah, I mean, like, look, if they've let him go, I want to be confident at this stage that they've got other options. And, you know, I can think of one. I mean, Sabitzer is available for half that money. You know, and obviously he's got a year on his contract.
What would you say is his main position?
I would say a 10. Sabitzer also a 10. Yeah, they're both.
But what level would you put him at? Would you say he would get into a top 6 team? Actually, no. Let's say a top 4 team.
Yeah,
a top 4 team. He would be a regular in the top 4 team.
Yeah, I mean, Sabitzer, I would say the top 4 teams in England have probably got very good players in that position. So it's one of, you know, maybe you would say, would he get ahead of a Foden or a Grealish or these kinds of players, you know, like, but he's champions, like, you know, he's playing at a Champions League club for a reason. He's definitely got that quality. I've never watched him playing in the Champions League and thought, this guy doesn't look like he belongs here. He's a good player, man. He's
okay.
He's definitely, yeah.
I've not seen enough of him to.
No. Did you see his assist the other day?
I didn't know. No.
Oh my goodness! What? Yeah. I'll send it to you, man. Just watch.
Please do. Please do.
But yeah, people, don't forget to smash the
likes, share, subscribe, smash the likes.
Show some love for King. The King.
Yeah. definitely. Well, you know, show some love for all of us, the whole FTB family. You know,
100%.
we're all in this together. But yeah, I think the last story that I want to look at very quickly, obviously, amongst the ones that I touted at the beginning of the show, we're going to look at the goalkeepers very quickly, just before kickoff of the big one, the Clash of the Titans. But yeah, Canners, I wanted to obviously get your thoughts on this whole Leno, Ryan, Onana triangle right now. Personally, I think regardless of whether Leno stays or goes, you've got a goalkeeper who is 24 years old, who has proven himself at Ajax, who has shown at Champions League level and at the AFCON what he can do. You know, this situation that we find ourselves in where we can get him this cheap is very unique. You know, like his contract's expiring. He's reduced his value because of the ban that he's been on, meaning that he hasn't played last season. That's driven down his value further. Leno's 29. He's 24 comparatively. I just look, big clubs they do proactive things. We might not need to replace Leno right now, but we definitely are going to need to in the future. And if you get a chance to replace it with this guy for 8 million, just because of these circumstances, for me, that's a gift horse in the mouth. You just don't look that in the mouth.
I agree with you, mate. To be fair, that it's a no-brainer. Funny enough, though, and it's very Arsenal-esque. There are other teams. Apparently, there's another club in England in the Premiership interested in him now. So my question is, are we really interested in him? I'd be happy for us to sell Leno for a good 20 mil. Bring in Matt Ryan and obviously purchase Onana. For me, I think that would be decent, very decent indeed, to have those two as our goalkeepers. And you know what? I think they can genuinely fight it out amongst them and bring out the best in each other to become the number one. I think Matt Ryan hasn't let us down in the games that he's played. I think that's Gumza agreeing with you regarding Sabitzer, isn't it? Yeah. So I think it will be a very sensible piece of business if we listen. You got an opportunity to get an upgrade on your goalkeeper and get some money in. It doesn't really kind of get as easy as that, because listen, we get 7 mil for Onana. We'd have to pay about no more than 10 million euros. And then we could sell, even if we sold, Leno for 15 million, we're making money at the end of the day. And at the end of it, I just feel that, we've got to be smart. Leno's been okay. He's not really let us down. I mean, yeah, fair enough. There was a couple of times when you make a couple of mistakes, but yeah, I think, as you say, thinking as a big club, he'll be a keeper for a good 10 years.
That's what I'm saying. You just get it done, right? Like, it's simple, it's rudimentary, like a lot of people are saying, oh yeah, we should only be looking at him if Leno wants to go. It's like, look,
let him go.
Like literally, as I said the other day, Chelsea aren't waiting to see if Azpilicueta will sign another contract to make a bid for Hakimi.
They're making his mind up for him.
They're just like, look, it is what it is, pal. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you are 33, 34 years old. You are not going to live forever. Like,
the sands of time.
Yeah, like, they change, and the thing is as well, you need the competition to keep you on your feet, yourself as a player. And we need to protect ourselves. We're not out here to be a charity. We've got to look at the longer term goals of this football club and protect them. So
I think what you said there is absolutely spot on, because essentially what you're saying is, right, is that you got Azpilicueta, is that you say? I can't even pronounce his name. Yeah, you have him right now. Let's just say, right, he does stick around, but the competition makes him a better player, or actually his levels. everyone's a winner. I just feel that, you know, listen, if he does stick around and he doesn't want to be sold, and he's saying that he you know, you've bought in a next guy or whatever, what's the bad thing about having that competition for places?
Yeah, I think you're spot on there. And, you know, in terms of, you know, sort of Onana's age, you know, I think he's not going to be able to play straight away. I don't think he can be registered until January. I still haven't looked into that properly.
Yeah, I think
because
he can play in
reduced.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I just think in terms of looking at a solution where you've got a goalkeeper that, you know, comes in at 24, 25, say if Leno takes the next season and is sold at the end of it, or whatever, you know, like, or whether he sold this window, it doesn't really affect me as much. I just think regardless, we should get this keeper for that price.
It seems it's a no-brainer.
Whether we have to replace Leno now or later, I mean, this is what I keep saying about the business. We look at other clubs and we say they're well-run clubs, right? No one looked at Jamie Vardy and his output of last season and thought we need another striker. But they've had Iheanacho in and around the squad for some time now. Best output they've ever had out of him. Does that stop them going to market to get a striker? No, they want Eduardo from Celtic.
Eduardo.
Because, you know, they're not thinking about.
Look, they're recognizing a player that can enhance them.
And they're recognizing
that's the key.
The player that they've got in their ranks that they're relying on to do that, they're looking at his age and they're looking at the risk reward value in going into a season, putting all your eggs in his basket. It makes no 100%. Sense to do that at Jamie Vardy's age. It makes no sense to be doing that at Leno's age when there is such an age difference between this younger keeper. You know, like, I just think it shouldn't really depend on Leno's situation. It should depend on what this football club needs to do.
Exactly.
How much were you boys selling Leno for?
Pardon?
I'd say for at the very least, the bottom would be 15 million.
King?
For who?
Leno.
Oh, how much do you think we should get for him? Yeah, at the very least 15.
Oh, not more, no? Do you not think he I think he's good enough to go for more?
We bought him for 20.
I reckon we can get 20, but at the very least, I would expect at the very, very least, you know, bottom basement price would be 15. But I believe we should be able to get more for an international goalkeeper. He's in the squad, right? At thingy, isn't he? With Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you know, I think, and you know, maybe that's something.
Nice one, Lottie.
Take it easy, Lottie. And yeah, I think, you know, that can be definitely argued. You know, I think there's going to be a few players where we're looking at what we paid for them and what we're getting for them.
Yeah,
we need to bigger picture look at what that money is going to get us now in terms of, you know, sort of the players that we need to go for in the market. But yeah, look, you know, I think all around, I'm happy that we're linked with Onana, and I'll be happy to bring back Matt Ryan as well.
Yeah, you know, he can play from the back as well, and that's the key.
That's the thing.
And Leno, we know with Leno now, he just can't. He can't do it.
He's a bit dodgy. He's a bit dodgy.
Ryan, you know, back up. That's all that's all you can ask for.
Listen, he's an Arsenal fan, and I'm sure. He'll be happy to do that. You know, I mean, obviously you'd want to play, but I think if he's understanding that there is a number one, I think he's happy to play the number two.
Was there a registration issue if we did sign him?
I need to look into that.
Yeah. I think it will be until like November time.
Yeah.
But guys, it's been a good show today. I think France are about to kick off with Germany.
Game coming up.
Big game. So I'm gonna tune into that, guys. You know, it's been good catching up with you again today, Counters. You Silver Fox as well.
Thanks for letting me interrupt.
No worries. Thanks for everyone that interacted with the show. Please hit the likes,
Smash.
share, smash those, and watch out for FTB, the other shows that we're putting on. It'll be back to Gunslingers tomorrow.
Watch out for the show we got for you there.
Yeah, and the court will adjourn until Thursday on that night.
Wicked.
But yes, guys, take it easy. And yeah, enjoy the France and Germany show as well.
Bless.
Nice one.
We are awesome.